for the final matchup today here on NBC. The U.S. against Argentina from Sam Boyd Stadium here in Las Vegas. Terry Gannon, Brian Hightower, Marty Snyder with you. And a critical one for the United States, trying to advance to the quarterfinals in the Cup.
Well, the USA controls their own destiny, Terry. If they win this game by more than 5 points, they are going to be in the Cup round. Al
Caravelli, the head coach for the U.S., is with Marty.
And they've beaten Argentina 6 straight times, but you say a huge rival. Why, Al?
Well, I think that, we have Canada to the north and Argentina to the south. We're not really sure how it's going to go to the Olympics, so they're a big rival. Plus, I have some heritage back in Argentina. It's always good to beat them.
And he told the guys, just relax. Remember why you play the game. Don't feel the pressure of family and friends in the stands. Just go out there and have fun.
Yeah, Caravelli learned the game growing up in Argentina. Now he leads the way for the U.S. as you check out the starting 7.
Yeah, Paulafau's got to have a big game here. Andrew Shalom Suniula at the captain spot has to come up huge. Another classic mistake. The United States kicks the ball straight into touch and gives the first ball to Argentina at the midway stripe. And Al can't believe it. How many times has he seen his captain kick the ball out?
Rizzoni number 2, Morello number 6, 2 of the top players for Argentina now, working up the field with speed.
Big gap there outside the ruck, and they've got to set up their defensive wall.
Loose ball, they're able to come up with it though. De La Fuente.
Referee going all the way back to the original spot. Must have been playing an advantage. He was. He says they weren't rolling away in the first ruck, and the U.S. has to calm down here.
Argentina 1-1 so far. They lost to Fiji. They beat Canada. The U.S. 0-2. And Argentina owns the overall series 13-7. But as we said, it's been all U.S. as of late. They haven't lost to them in 2 years, since 2009, more than 2 years. Quickly out to the sideline, and there you go, 5 points on the board.
Yeah, Diego Palma's their burner, and a great touch pass by Argentina to free their speedster on the wing. Great pass, great hands there by Geronimo De La Fuente.
And you can't set a pick.
Look at this
you
pass.
Can't block, but there were a couple of near screens.
Well, those are called dummy runners, so yeah, it's exactly what's happening. A guy runs through the line. He's an option, but likely is not going to receive the ball. But the defenders have to honor him and sit down on the attackers, create space on the outside for Diego Palma.
That's not an easy angle. That's a great kick. Valentin Cruz just inside the right upright, and it's 7-0. Argentina quickly in the lead.
Well, the United States now has to kind of start over.
Pool B, an advancement to the quarters. Does this go 10?
Well, the U.S. plays it. Wow, free kick, and luckily it looked like the Argentinian player's hand touched the ball before Colin Hawley did, and so I guess turnabout is fair play here, and they get the free kick from the halfway stripe going forward.
Nicolas Fernandez-Love, third year as the head coach of Argentina. Space for the United States now.
They need support. You got to find support runners here. There's Hawkins in support. First to the ruck. Zach Tess with the ball. Neal goes for the cleanup. Looking for the ball again is Hawkins.
And here he comes. Hawkins starts it. They bring it back to the near side. Colin Hawley, former starred Cal, taken right away.
Ripped away from him by Geronimo De La Fuente, and off to the races is Argentina again. United States has to get on their horse and come play defense.
And it's been turnovers and mistakes which have killed the U.S. so far this year and in this tournament. And here's another one wide open. Not going to catch it. Ortega Decio taking it all the way between the sticks. And will touch down and have a great angle on the conversion.
Well, you talk to Al Caravelli about this team, and he'll tell you that the structure is improving, that their defensive alignment is working, that they can go through phases on the attack. But the little things, how do you tell a player, don't let the ball get ripped out of your hands? don't drop the ball when it's passed to you. And those are the little things, the kind of the uncoachables that is happening. Little lapses in concentration. The U.S. is suffering from them, and they need to turn this around and quickly if they're going to have any chance.
Cruz with a conversion up and good, and it's 14-0. This is something you can't coach. I mean, it just gets ripped out of his hands.
Yeah, and Hawley needs to go to the ground.
And eventually led to the easy opportunity in the middle of the field.
That's Ortega Decio, the #1 junior tennis player in all of Argentina, and decided to pick rugby instead. Ortega Decio.
Hawkins, the polar bear as they call him, fair skin, light blonde hair, and big and strong.
Great break by Mike Palafal.
Palafal, does he have the speed? It's a foot race from this point, trying to get to the corner, and he has a couple of men behind him, takes it in.
He's got to turn, he's got to go as far as he can, and he leaves a little bit of work for the goal kicker. But the U.S. goes over the line, and that's a huge momentum swing.
Palafal with the move to the outside. Would he have been better off leaving it for a teammate or turning him then?
You know, you can't take your chances. When you have a chance to score, you gotta score a try. You know, their fastest player is the one chasing him, Diego Palma. He's the first try scorer, and Palafal showing some wheels.
Shalom Suniula, 23-year-old Samoan-born, New Zealand raised, on for the conversion. Trying to curl it in and not able to. Palafal puts the U.S. up, though, on the board, and it's 14-5.
And everything needs to continue to go the United States way to stay in the hunt for a cup round berth.
And remember, the 14 points that needed to be made up at the beginning of the day, and Fiji with a 9-point win. So 5 points is really the differential there that they have to win by.
That's right. So they need a few tries, and they need to play some defense. Going way up for the ball is Maka Anufe, young kid. A lot of upside, one of the fastest guys on this tour.
Tess tried to get there. They kick it forward, though.
Ball rolls out. U.S. gets a restart here. 16 seconds left, but they're going to be able to throw this line out in. And here's where the patience needs to come in. We've seen some of the younger players panic in this point of the game before. The first task at hand, though, they've got to win this line out.
And do, going directly without any help.
Yeah, you're allowed to. He just threw the ball over all the forwards.
No time left, final play.
See, good quick support there, and it's okay to do that. Just run through a few phases until a gap opens up. Suniula with a little dart, and Anufe, he's the base man. He's got to have a little chance here. Good pass by Palafal. Hawley exposes the gap. He's got Hawkins with him.
Can he get there? They're not gonna.
Hawley changes his. Yeah, Hawkins with a new line.
It's Matt Hawkins who will take it in. And totally inspired. The hornets sounded, but the U.S. able to manufacture one before the break.
And very wisely, Hawkins in the corner, dives on the ground, but does not put downward pressure on the ball. Gets back to his feet and centers it. It's an old trick in sevens. Great support line. Hawkins. Notice how he doesn't ground it. He doesn't ground it. He fakes out the Argentinians. And an easy kick coming to get the U.S. within 2.
And they do. Conversion up and good, and it's 14-12. So the USA hopes of winning alive. USA hopes of making it to the quarterfinals and playing for the overall cup. Still very much alive here at the break against Argentina. Back to Vegas in a moment. Beautiful day here in the desert, and the action continues at Sam Boyd Stadium very quickly to the second half. The kick going into touch as the U.S. opens up down 14-12. Terry Gannon, Brian Hightower, and Marty Snyder with you. And the U.S. needing a victory here, and they'd like one by 5 or more to move on to the quarters.
So Argentina wins the kickoff, then they kick the ball out of touch. A penalty awarded to the United States. Holly's got to get rid of that ball early. I think Hawkins had a head of steam there. Passes back inside to Test.
Zach Test, the former wide receiver at Oregon. And we mentioned Miles Cregwell's background, free agency in the NFL, and saw the college sevens tournament on NBC and said, I want to do that. And he's been a part of that since.
Well, in a couple.
So as they sort things out, we'll check in a little an injury update, Marty.
Yeah, Maka Yunufe for the U.S. has he had a significant cut on his right hand. It was bleeding pretty bad. They put a bandage on it, and they put a lot of tape over his right hand. We'll see if that affects his play here in the second half, Jerry.
Yunufe, a big part of that effort in the first. There he is, out on the field.
Well, it didn't affect his ability to chase down that first kick. A lot of space there. Hawkins off his feet.
Gets the ball back well.
Suniula, and then they get it out to the near side.
It's unlucky. Just a pass that's too hard and too far in front of Maka Yunufe. Can't find the handle. Terry, you mentioned what Miles Cregwell was watching. Well, we got a couple players on the U.S. team from that Collegiate Rugby Championships out of Philly last year. Peter Tiberio, University of Arizona player, now playing for the United States, as well as Colin Hawley, who was playing for the Cal Bears at the time.
Players shaken up. And the clock does stop.
And speaking of Hawley, that is Hawley on the ground. And it looks like Andrew Duratalo, born in Manhattan, raised in Fiji. August, weighed 280 pounds. He's 6'3". He's dropped 30 pounds. Is lighter, faster, fitter.
Said he thinks about a gold medal in Rio every single day. Long way until 2016, but this part of the process for the U.S. Argentina on the move. They really haven't had the ball much since the early moments.
For Argentina.
Since their first 2 tries.
Well, there's a lot of freedom and creativity in attack, but defense is about communication. A good break for the United States there as the Argentinian player held the ball on the ground. United States down 2. A converted try gives them the points they need to advance to the cup round.
Yeah, you're exactly right. 5-point lead would do it.
There's Tiberio. We talked about him earlier. University of Arizona, playing in the collegiates last year, said, I want to play for the national team and I want to be in the Olympics. Well, he's one step further to both of those goals. Caravelli giving him some instructions. He's a great little player.
Shalom Suniula, his brother Roland, is also on this U.S. side, and they're in no hurry for this lineup.
Yeah, I think that's okay right now. If there was less time on the clock, maybe, but they got to make sure that they win this ball, stay calm and collected, and right now they just need to get across the line.
Late in the game against Canada, a loss yesterday, they seem to rush. They seem to panic just a little bit.
Yeah, and some of those mental mistakes, and maybe that's what they're doing right now, just consciously chilling out a little bit. Zach Test with the ball. He's got to get support there to him, and he does.
But it's taken away.
Turned over in the tackle.
Critical turnover to Argentina, and that's been the problem for the U.S.
They got to play defense here. And there's Yunufe against Diego Palma, and Yunufe wins this battle.
Swing it and control it this way. They've got numbers to the sideline.
Great tackle by Zach Test. He measures him up and he puts him on the ground. And in the back, Shalom Suniula playing sweeper just in case anybody breaks through that line.
Gia Pisoni, a tough man to take down, and Zach Test was able to.
Notice how they shift out. Yunufe, once again, just waiting for the player to arrive on scene. No panic, and I like the confidence he's playing with. But the clock's winding down, and the U.S. needs to get the ball back. Another great tackle by Zach Test. Gap in the defense now. U.S. realigns well.
You always have to wrap up, but maybe you start going for the ball, too.
Well, there's a counter-attacking opportunity. No, instead he says player off his feet trying to play the ruck, and it's a harsh break for the United States. Argentina, clock winding, 2 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't kick the ball into touch and try to burn some clock and go for a line out here, and that's exactly what it looks like they're doing.
Yeah, more coverage tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern on NBC Sports Network, and final day tomorrow on Universal, NBC Sports Network, and here on NBC.
So Hawley gets to come back in because of the blood substitution that took him out in the first place. He's a little bit faster. And Tiberio checks in.
Peter Tiberio.
The USA.
Going to man off the field right now, so you've got a minute and a half basically left.
Yeah, and I think these are the right moves by Caravelli. You're not going to be able to go through the Argentinians. They're great defenders, but you might be able to go around them. We've seen that a couple times so far, and we can beat them with speed here.
Big line out. As they start, stop, restart.
Not straight, a great break for the United States. They're going to get the ball.
Well, that's a huge break.
Crucial timing, a minute, 9 seconds left on the clock. U.S. with a chance.
And it comes down to this for Al Caravelli in the U.S. if they move on to the quarters.
Well, if they manage to find a way across the line and convert a try, this would right the ship. This would correct so many mistakes from the past, so much pressure.
But remember, they need a try and a conversion to move on to the quarters.
They just got to be thinking try right now. They got to protect this ball. Argentinians are masters at turning the ball over and winning ball in the rucks.
It goes. The U.S.
Miscommunication. Ball comes to the corner, and Hawkins thinks that Zach's going to keep running down the sideline, but Test decides to cut inside. He's no longer where Hawkins thinks he is. He throws the ball out. Well, this is the last play, and this line out is their last chance.
And this is it. U.S. trying to straight.
Not a straight throw. The U.S. is going to have one more chance.
That was unorganized from the start.
Well, it looked like Argentina wasn't sure what they wanted to do, but they wanted to throw it straight, and they did. That's twice in a row, and U.S. still with a prayer.
Here come the Americans. Time is expired. Final play. Final chance to the near side.
Tiberio with the ball. He's got support. He's got to be patient. Lay the ball back. We got to have people there.
And you don't have to rush right now. You don't have to panic. Caravelli told his team a moment ago, take your time. Be patient.
Hawkins gathers the ball at the back. They've got men out wide. Test with the ball. They've got time. They've got to work through phases here. Great job by Hawkins taking the ball instead of trying to make a desperate pass.
The whistle blows.
Truly, the referee says that he was playing the ball on the ground. Caravelli is beside himself.
Tiberio was trying to come out with it and start the attack to the opposite side when the whistle blew.
Well, that is a harsh call by the referee. It ends the U.S.'s chances. And what a horrible way to end their first round.
And it came down to that last call, Brian.
Well, gonna have to see it again. I'm not sure what the referee saw. There's Mike Polifal's on his feet. I think he's calling Tiberio there for being on his knees and playing the ball. Oh, that's a harsh call. Boy, I can't agree with that.
And the U.S. will fall to 0-3. Their chance of advancing to the quarterfinals and playing for the cup is done. They'll keep playing, but not for the cup.